You had mentioned in the past, that you really got in and you were well prepared to work with Beyonce, and she liked the fact that you were just able to do everything you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so that I remember being one of your opportunities, which puts us in here talking about the Chainsmokers, and all your work in collage, and of course with the the Grammy-winning song and everything. But how did that whole thing kind of happen? How did you guys cross paths and they start wanting to work with you?
Yeah, so I was still in New York. This was about 2 years ago when I connected with them. I was still in New York. Their manager, Adam, reached out to me on my website, although he was referred to me by an A&R up at Columbia, Imran Majid, who was a friend of mine, and sort of referred me, and then he found me on my website, reached out, and he just said, hey, I have these guys, the Chainsmokers. At that point, they had already put Selfie out, and were kind of known, but didn't really have, they weren't massive artists. And he just said, hey, do you want to meet them and see if you guys gel and you kind of catch a vibe. So I invited them to the studio. I was mixing something up at Jungle City in New York, and they came by and we hung out, and we're all about the same age. I'm like 2 years older than, or I'm a year older than Alex, and I think 2 or 3 years older than Drew. And we just kind of clicked, and we, they played me a bunch of music. I gave them my feedback and comments on the music. I guess they kind of saw the vision and what I wanted to sort of do and how I could help them. And then we just started there, and we started slowly, and they gave me one record to mix, Good Intentions, which was on the Bouquet EP, and then 6 months later, we didn't really work, and then 6 months later, they brought me Don't Let Me Down. And we just won the Grammy for that 2 days ago, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then not only is it, Don't Bring Me Down, and then of course Closer being such a big hit, so not only, are you seen as mixing that, but you also tracked all that, and you have vocal production credit as well.
Well, on Closer, not on Don't Let Me Down.
Okay.
Although I do have a really funny story about the vocals on Don't Let Me Down. But yeah, with Closer, that was the first song Drew was singing, and he's not really a singer, but he's getting into it, and he's actually getting pretty good. So, he needed some help, and then we brought Halsey in eventually, and she needed to be cut, and they sort of, through that process, trusted me with their vocals. And yeah, so because they were DJs before, they're still DJs, but most DJs will make a track and they'll send it out to a bunch of writers, and the writers will write a song and record it and then send it back to them, and it's already done. Most DJs, not all, but most are not sitting in those writing sessions and actually coming up with harmonies and all that stuff. So they needed a little help there, and I have a huge experience with doing vocals, obviously. So that was one of those areas where I could sort of help them and help support them. They don't need my help making tracks. They're some of the best producers in the business.
Sure.
But they did need a little help with getting the vocals right. So that's sort of how Closer came about. But yeah, Don't Let Me Down, I didn't do that.
Okay.
The funny thing about mixing Don't Let Me Down is I was mixing it in my apartment in LA. I mix all these songs in my apartment. And I got a knock on my door, and Drew was at my house, and we were going through the mix, and I get a knock on my door, and I thought it might have been security with a noise complaint or something. And it was just this dude, and I opened the door, and he's like, "You're the other Chainsmoker. What's your name?" And I was so confused. I didn't understand how, did he see them walk in my house? I didn't get it. And I just looked a little perplexed, and he said, "You're mixing a song with my artist Daya on it." And come to find out, Daya's producer lives literally right below me.
That's great.
Right underneath me.
That's great.
And he heard the bass through the walls.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I know that song. Let me go."
Yeah.
How does he have that song?
Yeah.
It's not out yet. Let me go see what's up.
That's
and he
a great
just knocked on the door.
synchronicity.
Yeah, hilarious. Only in LA.